Hi, eighth graders. So we're going to move on to chapter 32. So you can go ahead and get out your packets for Amal Unbound. And you're going to be on the next page. All right, so we're at number 66. Chapter 32 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions again. When Amal got home, she had forgotten what it was like to feel someone's blank. Amal told her mother that Jawad Sahib took her blank away from her. This was the reason why she hadn't talked to her family from the estate. Pretty sure you know that answer already. Amal was a blank to her baby sister, Lubna. Pretty sure you can guess that one. Omar was at blank at his new boarding school. He missed Amal's visit. And when Amal volunteered to watch the baby while her mother got the girls ready for bed, Amal's mother called her a blank. So those are the questions that you're going to be listening for the answers as I read today. So yesterday, Nazreen Baji gave Amal the opportunity to go home for the wedding of her friend's sister, so she could actually go home and visit her parents. Can't you drive faster? I asked Gullum. I'm driving no slower and no faster than I ever do, he replied. But a little faster wouldn't hurt anyone. Please? You're going to pay the cost to fix this car if something happens to it. He laughed. Gullum Baba, I pleaded, just this once. He shook his head, but he glanced at me in the rearview mirror and winked. The engine hummed louder, and the scenery passed faster now. Soon my neighborhood sprang into view. Water buffalo roamed the distant fields. A group of boys kicked a faded soccer ball in the street. The car jerked to a stop. Children pointed at it and blocked its path. I pushed the door open. Gullum rolled down his window. What are you doing? He asked. It's just one block over. I can't wait, I shouted. Thanks for the ride. I broke into a run down the road. There it was, the rose bushes. The worn front door creaked when I opened it, like always. As I stepped inside, it felt like the past few months had been a terrible nightmare, and now it was over. I was home. Safa and Rabia stood by the couch. They were so engrossed in their argument, they didn't see me at first. I took in their flushed cheeks and hands on their hips as their complaints echoed off the concrete walls. Seema peeled the cucumber by the stove. She turned to hush them. That's when she saw me. She gasped. Her knife clattered to the ground. Amal, she shouted. She rushed toward me and wrapped me in a hug. I had forgotten what it was like to feel someone's embrace. Baji's here, Rabia and Safa shrieked in unison. Their eyes lit up like a string of lights on Eid. They dashed towards me. I picked them both up and hugged them. I didn't know how I would ever let go. Amal? My mother. She carried my little sister Lubna in her arms. Her hair was loose and damp, grayer than it had been 3 months earlier. She walked toward me and stroked my hair as if checking to make sure that I was real. Then her expression crumbled. She folded me into her arms. They said I could come for a few days. I hugged her. For the wedding, I can't believe I'm home right now. I called you every day. The phone rang without answer, and then one day it stopped ringing altogether. Had to wait the longest time before I could get word you were all right at all. She wiped tears from her eyes. He took my phone the first day. I've been desperate to talk to you, to all of you. Seema, get your father, my mother said. Amal, sit here. Let me get a good look at you. Despite the exhaustion lining her face, she looked like my mother again. Our dolls missed you, Rabia said, holding out her patchwork doll to me. Safa hurried over with hers as well. They talked over each other, sharing all the adventures I missed. I marveled at Safa's words. The first time I'd heard her speak so clearly. Lubna was a plump baby now with soft curls like Safa's and Rabia's. I held out my hand as to pick her up, but she pulled back, studying me shyly from my mother's arms. She had no memories of gripping my hand and looking into my eyes all those hours when she was a newborn. I was not an older sister to her. I was a stranger. How are you doing there in that house? My mother asked. I fidgeted in my seat. I waited so long to come here, to let go of everything weighing on my heart. But the thing was, she looked so happy to see me. After everything I put her through, how could I add more burdens on her back? Nazreen Baji treats me well, I managed to say. I'm lucky I work for her. Good, she exhaled. I know it's not easy, but I know how strong you are. Strong? What did it mean to be strong? Did I have any other choice? Before I could say anything more on this, the front door opened. My father stepped inside. He walked straight over to me and hugged me, his face wet with tears. With his arms around me for the first time since I came home, I cried. The room grew quiet when I pulled away. I'm sorry. I wiped my tears. Don't be, my mother said. You're free here. The door opened again. I thought my ears were playing tricks on me. Parvin, I raced over to hug her. Where's Omar? Oh, Amal, she winced. He's at orientation this weekend. Orientation? Yes, for the boarding school, remember? I remembered now, our conversation by the stream. It felt like a lifetime ago now. He starts in the fall, and they wanted the new students to come spend the weekend there to get acquainted. He's going to be so upset he missed your visit. I'm so glad things are moving along with that, I told her, and I was. If my own future had to be yanked away, at least Omar had one. We ate dinner in the courtyard that night. I fixed myself a plate of card-hide chicken and the fresh wheat roti my mother had made minutes earlier. I had no idea how badly I missed my mother's food until I took a bite. Hamid was a good cook, but there was nothing in the world that could compare to my mother's food. Did you know I'm learning to read? Rabia told me. Seema's teaching her, my mother nodded. She starts school in a few weeks. When can I start? Safa frowned. When you behave. Rabia stuck out her tongue. Seema interceded to cut off the argument. My mother grabbed Safa and put her in her lap. When the conversation turned to the preparations for Hafsa's sister's wedding, everyone started talking at once, and I found it difficult to focus. I felt overwhelmed by the laughter, chatter, and squeals of my sisters, the sounds that I had missed so much. I tried to still myself and soak it all in, to hold on to when I was gone. I used to complain to Omar about my chaotic home. I took an opportunity to escape to the sugar fields when the noise became too much. Why did I get so annoyed at the sound of my sister's chatter? Why did I get so frustrated with my chores? Why did it take leaving my ordinary life behind to appreciate how why did it take leaving my ordinary life behind to appreciate how precious it truly was? Okay, girls, my mother said when the last of the roaches vanished from the hot pot. Seema, watch the baby while I get the girls ready for bed. I can do it, I said. Nonsense. You're a guest here for a short while. Relax. Guest? It was just an offhand remark. They meant it kindly, but to call me a guest in the only place I ever belonged, the word cut like a jagged stone against my heart. So Amal's mom, meaning well, told her that she was a guest in their home. And why do you think that bothered her so much? I feel stupid just waiting for you guys to answer like I'm there. Okay, so think about that. How would you feel coming home in a mall situation, taken from your home as she was and being allowed home? Would you want to be treated as a guest or would you want to be treated as part of the family? So there you have it. I hope you were able to find all of the answers that you needed, and I will see you later. Be good for the sub. Bye.